Chapter 76, Blind and Blind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Howl. A face in the blood mist let out a sharp roar and rushed towards Ji Wufeng. Ji Wufeng took out the jade pot. Suddenly, the bloody mist rushed into the jade pot, and the face gradually became clearer. It is the dress of an ancient scholar. The scholar knelt down and said respectfully to Ji Wufeng, "Thank you, God, for saving me from the sea of suffering." "Who are you exactly?" Ji Wufeng asked. The scholar recalled with a face, "I was a scholar in the first year of Zhengguan in the Tang dynasty. In order to improve my calligraphy, I used my own blood to grind ink. Unexpectedly, I became so obsessed that I went crazy and couldn't extricate myself. In the end, I cut my throat and died, and my soul was trapped in the inkstone. I was in a state of confusion, and it was only when I met the great immortal that I came to my senses." It turned out that this was the case. Ji Wufeng asked, "Where will you go next?" "Although I am confused, I still remember all the things I did. The sin is serious and I should not continue to exist in the world." The scholar looked guilty, stood up and cupped his hands to Ji Wufeng and said, "Sir, if there is an afterlife, I will definitely tie a grass ring to repay my kindness." The figure of the scholar gradually faded, and finally disappeared completely. The reason why ghosts exist is because of their own obsession. Now that the scholar's obsession is gone, his soul can no longer gather and dissipates between heaven and earth. The scholar disappeared, and the blood mist was put into the jade pot. Yang Songbai seemed to have just woken up, rubbing his eyes and said, "What happened?" The old lady recovered from the fright, hurriedly supported him and said, "Old man, do you know that you just saved a life?" After knowing what happened, Yang Songbai's face turned green with fright. He subconsciously touched his neck and said to Yang Qingwu, "Qingwu, are you okay? Grandpa didn't mean to hurt you." Yang Qingwu shook his head and said, "Grandpa, I'm fine. I know you didn't mean it." At this time Ji Wufeng said, "Since you are fine, should you let me go?" Yang Qingwu was so frightened that he hugged Ji Wufeng just now, but he hasn't let go yet. "Ah!" Yang Qingwu screamed and hurriedly let go of Ji Wufeng. He lowered his head and said at a loss, "Yes. I'm sorry." At this time, Zhou Yuanqing suddenly pointed at the Duanxi blood ink stone and shouted, "Look!" I saw that the ink stone had lost its original color and luster, and had turned gray, just like a cement brick. "How so?" Yang Songbai was shocked and reached out to touch the ink stone, but it suddenly shattered and turned into a pile of plaster. Zhou Yuanqing stepped forward and touched the soil and said, "Don't feel bad, old Yang. This is not the real Duanxi blood ink stone at all. It has just restored its original appearance because it has been weathered over time." At this time, the old lady said angrily, "You two old people, now you have seen the ghost, the inkstone is fake, and everything they said is true. I think you have nothing else to say." As soon as these words came out, everyone's faces were filled with shame. "Now that it's been proven that I'm not a liar, I don't think you will arrest me and take me to the police station, right? Farewell." Ji Wufeng turned around and left. Yang Songbai and Zhou Yuanqing were hesitant to speak. The old lady was so angry that she glared and said, "You old man, he saved our whole family just now. Hurry up and chase him." Yang Songbai smiled bitterly and said, "I wanted to chase him, but he helped me once or twice, but I thought he was a liar. How could I have the nerve to chase him?" Zhou Yuanqing felt even more guilty and said, "We are really blind." At this time, everyone smelled a foul smell coming from under the table. When they looked down, Zhang Chen's legs were still shaking, and there was a pool of yellow water stains under his crotch. He was so frightened that he peed. Yang Songbai raised his eyebrows and said, "You are worthless, please come out quickly." Zhang Chen climbed out from under the table and asked Yang Qingwu with concern, "Qingwu, are you okay?" A trace of disappointment flashed in Yang Qingwu's eyes. She was scared to death when she saw a ghost. However, Zhang Chen was so frightened that he got under the table alone and peed. How can such a man share the trouble in the future? "I'm fine," Yang Qingwu said calmly. "It's okay," Zhang Chen said with an angry look. "It's all because of that magician who pretended to be a ghost to scare us. Don't worry, I will definitely make him pay the price. Hearing this, Yang Qingwu's eyes were not only disappointed, but also showed a trace of disgust. That inkstone was sent by Zhang Chen, so he should be the culprit. Now that Ji Wufeng came to the rescue, he actually wanted to pass the responsibility to others. It was so shameless. Snort. Yang Qingwu snorted coldly, stopped talking to Zhang Chen, and chased him out. Ji Wufeng took a taxi at the intersection, when Yang Qingwu chased him out and shouted, "Please wait a moment." "How? Still want to send me to the police station?" Ji Wufeng said angrily. Yang Qingwu said sincerely, "I'm sorry, I'm here to apologize to you. After all, what I saw today was too unbelievable to me before. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, it would be really hard for people to believe it. As long as you know." Ji Wufeng said. "No matter what, you saved my whole family. I want to treat you to a meal to express my gratitude. Is that okay?" Yang Qingwu said with expectation in his eyes. "No, I'm here today to sell someone a favor. It has nothing to do with the Yang family, so you don't need to thank me." After Ji Wufeng finished speaking, the taxi came. He got in the car and left directly, leaving Yang Qingwu standing there stupidly, as if he didn't believe that Ji Wufeng left like this. Yang Qingwu is tall and has a delicate face. She is a standard beauty. She is born into a scholarly family and is knowledgeable and courteous. She has been a talented girl since she was a child. She was the top scorer in the college entrance examination in Yulio 2 years ago. Such a peerless beauty has always rejected others, and today was the first time she was rejected by others. At this moment, Zhang Chen also chased out and said, "Qingwu, I'm sorry, but don't worry, I will definitely find a better inkstone for Grandpa." Yang Qingwu said coldly, "No need, I still want my grandfather to live for 2 more years." After saying that, she turned around and walked into the yard. Zhang Chen wanted to follow him, but she locked the door behind her. Zhang Chen had a look of resentment on his face, and Yang Qingwu's rejection of him meant that there was no possibility for the two of them. "Bitch, I've been so good to you, but now you're kicking me down." Zhang Chen couldn't get rid of his resentment, and said sternly, "It's all that little bastard's fault, just wait for me, we are not done with this matter." That night, when Ji Wufeng returned home and was about to enter the community, 7 or 8 strong men suddenly rushed over and surrounded him. "I thought you were such a good guy, but after working on it for a long time, you turned out to be a loser who is about to go bankrupt." Zhang Chen walked over with a ferocious smile on his face. Chapter 77 Investment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It can be said that Zhang Chen spent a lot of money in pursuit of Yang Qingwu. Just the calligraphy and paintings given by celebrities were worth a lot of money, but he did not expect that the final result would be to steal the chicken but lose the rice, and all of this was caused by Ji Wufeng. If it weren't for him, no one would know the secret of the inkstone. It doesn't matter even if Yang Songbai dies. He stays with Yang Qingwu to comfort her, and maybe he can take advantage of it and take her down in one fell swoop. "What do you want?" Ji Wufeng asked. "I spent more than 2 million on that bitch. 1 million for a leg. Take it off for me," Zhang Chen said with a fierce expression. Several strong men came forward with sticks in their hands and said with a ferocious smile, "Boy, it's your fault for not being able to see. It's not good to offend anyone, but Mr. Zhang. Just accept your fate." Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said, "No matter how bad my eyesight is, I'm still better than you. No one is good with me, but I followed such a fool. Damn it, you're still so arrogant when you're about to die, hit me." Several strong men raised their sticks and smashed them into Ji Wufeng's legs. Such force was enough to break the leg bones directly. Normal people should dodge immediately, but instead of dodging, Ji Wufeng kicked him. Click. Boom. The stick with a thick arm was directly broken by Ji Wufeng's kick, and then kicked on the body of a strong man, sending him flying out. After falling to the ground and rolling a few times, he passed out. The big guys were immediately dumbfounded. "Oh my God, are you so cruel?" Bang bang bang. Ji Wufeng kicked a few more times, and several strong men like wolves and tigers immediately flew out and lay on the ground wailing. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. He thought that Ji Wufeng only knew some tricks, but he didn't expect that Ji Wufeng's skills were so terrifying. "You want my legs?" Ji Wufeng asked coldly. Zhang Chen was so frightened that he backed away and said, "Don't come over here. I tell you, the eldest young master of the Yu family is my cousin. If you dare to touch me, you won't be able to survive in Yulio." "The eldest young master of the Yu family? Are you talking about Yu Xiaojie?" Ji Wufeng asked. Seeing that Ji Wufeng knew about Yu Xiaojie, Zhang Chen immediately became arrogant again and said, "Yes, that's him. He is someone you can never afford to offend. If you have any sense, kneel down and admit your mistake right now. Otherwise, how could you die?" "Do not know at all." Snapped. Ji Wufeng suddenly slapped Zhang Chen in the face, causing Zhang Chen to fall to the ground with his mouth full of blood. "You little bastard, are you looking for death? Do you know what will happen if you offend the Yu family?" Zhang Chen shouted sharply. He didn't know why Ji Wufeng dared to attack after knowing his identity, but he was certain that with the current situation of the Ji family, offending the Yu family in Yulio would only lead to death. Ji Wufeng said coldly, "Since you think Yu Xiaojie can support you, then I will give you a chance and call someone over." "Okay, just wait, I guarantee you will die miserably." Zhang Chen immediately took out the phone and called, "Cousin Xiaojie? I'm your cousin Zhang Chen. Come here quickly. Someone beat me and said that even if you come, they won't take it seriously." After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen said fiercely to Ji Wufeng, "Little bastard, just wait for death." Soon, Yu Xiaojie rushed over, followed by several strong men. Judging from their pace, they must be trained masters. Seeing Yu Xiaojie coming, Zhang Chen immediately went over and cried, "Cousin, you are finally here. Someone bullied me. I told you your name, but he said that if you come, he will give you a piece of cake. Clean it up. It's not a big deal for me to be beaten, but it's a big deal for the Yu family's face." Yu Xiaojie saw Ji Wufeng and immediately ran over. Zhang Chen had a sinister smile on his face. Yu Xiaojie took action. Ji Wufeng had to take away half of his life. "Master Feng, why are you here?" Yu Xiaojie asked respectfully. Ji Wufeng glanced at Zhang Chen and said, "I am the one who bullied him." "Are you here to avenge him?" When Yu Xiaojie heard this, his expression immediately changed and he said, "Young Master Feng, this is a misunderstanding. I didn't know it was you." "It doesn't matter. Since you are already here, you will handle this matter, right? He just said he wanted my legs." Ji Wufeng said indifferently. "Don't worry, you will be satisfied." Yu Xiaojie's expression turned cross. Zhang Chen was a little confused. Compared with Ji Wufeng, Yu Xiaojie's status was as high as the heavens and the earth. But looking at him like that, Yu Xiaojie wanted to worship him as his ancestor. "Cousin, this. You shouldn't offend Mr. Feng. I will explain it to my aunt." Yu Xiaojie couldn't bear it and said coldly to the strong man he had brought, "Hit him and destroy his legs." Plop. Zhang Chen was immediately frightened and paralyzed on the ground. He was Yu Xiaojie's cousin, but now Yu Xiaojie not only refused to help him, but also broke his legs. The only explanation was that Ji Wufeng was not someone he could afford to offend. No, even Yu Xiaojie couldn't afford to offend him. He was not an idiot. He immediately climbed up to Ji Wufeng and cried, "Young Master Feng, I offended you because of my blindness. I will never dare to do it again. As long as you are willing to let me go, I will do whatever you want me to do." "Everyone is willing." Ji Wufeng looked at Yu Xiaojie and asked, "What can you do for me?" "I can give you as much money as you want, as long as it saves my leg." Zhang Chen said. "Okay, someone once offered me 50 million to let him go. Just give me 50 million and you can leave." Ji Wufeng said. "Ah." Zhang Chen was stunned. Yu Xiaojie looked confused. "Master Feng, I'll give you the money. My aunt's family has just opened a jade shop in the provincial capital Yuzhou, so she shouldn't be able to afford such money." Hearing this, Ji Wufeng raised his eyebrows and said, "If that's the case, then I don't want the money. On the contrary, I'll give you the money back." but I want the shares of this jade shop. Although he now has the Dragon Chi Stone, he does not need to worry about cultivation issues for the time being, but when he breaks through to a certain stage, the Dragon Chi Stone will not be enough for him, and he will definitely need high-grade jade or elixir. I'll give you 100 million in funds first. If it's not enough, I'll give it to you later. Ji Wufeng said. Ah, Zhang Chen was stunned. Yu Xiaojie quickly kicked him over and cursed, why are you still standing there? If Feng Xiao takes a stake, you can just wait and develop. Thank you, Master Feng, thank you, Master Feng. Zhang Chen immediately thanked him ecstatically. After sending Yu Xiaojie and others away, Ji Wufeng returned home and Shi Qianing had already prepared the meal. At the dinner table, Shi Qianing looked like he was hesitant to speak. Ji Wufeng smiled and asked, if you have anything to say, just say it. We are all our own people, so you're welcome. I'd like to borrow some money, is that okay? Shi Qianing said, it's my grandma's birthday in 2 days. She is the only person who loves me. I want to buy her a gift. Chapter 21 Chunfengdeyilou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng smiled and said, okay, today, boss, I will set up a table and hold a confession meeting for you. In this century, Wufeng will regard Mouse as his own brother, and Mouse's affairs are his business. No, your family is not well off now. I have money. I will call Xiaojie now to ask her out. Before Mouse could make a call, the phone had already rang. Mouse immediately grinned and said, it's Xiaojie calling. After answering the phone, Mozi looked a little unnatural and said, Xiaojie said that she is now at Chunfengdeyilou building and said that a friend wanted to celebrate her birthday with her. Chunfengdeyilou? Ji Wufeng frowned. Chunfengdeyilou is an extremely high-end national chain hotel, and the consumption is very high. Just eating will cost thousands of yuan. If there are many people and drinking, it will even cost tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. Even before, the Ji family was still in glory. Ji Wufeng has only been there a few times. Mouse has to work part-time to deliver food even to buy a gift. How can he afford to eat at Chunfengdeyilou? Ji Wufeng patted him on the shoulder and smiled, isn't this just right? There are so many people here to help you witness, and I will take care of the other things. Although the family was not well off, Chini left him living expenses before leaving, and at worst, he would have to pay them all. The two took a taxi to Chunfengdeyilou building. The parking lot was already filled with luxury cars. The business was booming. I don't know how many people were jealous, but no one dared to cause trouble, because those who dare to cause trouble for Chunfengdeyilou building never end well. It is rumored that the big boss of Chunfengdeyilou building is a big shot from Tianjing with a great background. After finding the private room that Xiaojie mentioned, Ji Wufeng looked depressed. You must know that the minimum purchase price for a private room is more than 20,000 yuan. Entering the box, I saw that it was already full of people, both men and women, talking and laughing. One of the pretty girls was Xiaojie. When she saw the mouse coming in, her cheeks that were still joking suddenly turned cold. She walked over and whispered, what's the matter with you? You're not wearing this to embarrass me. Mouse had been delivering takeout for a day, and the clothes he was wearing were really out of tune with the other people in the box. The mouse looked sad for a while, then smiled and said, didn't I come here in a hurry and didn't have time to change? Just then a girl said, Xiaojie, who are these two people? They must be your friends too. I saw that everyone in the box was focused on the two of them. After a while of inspection, their eyes were full of disgust. It was obvious that they believed that people like Xiang Ji Wufeng and Moz were not qualified to sit with them and eat together. Xiaojie looked embarrassed for a moment and said with a smile, they are my neighbors and they came over to celebrate my birthday. Ji Wufeng could clearly feel that Xiaojie wanted to distance herself from Moz at this time. If the situation did not allow it, she would not be willing to admit that she knew Moz. Those few people turned their heads and stopped paying attention, as if they felt that if they took one more look, they would lose their worth. Xiaojie whispered again, you two can leave quickly after you finish eating. We are going to sing later. It's a bit inappropriate for you to be there. Ji Wufeng felt angry. Inappropriate? Why is it inappropriate? Are you afraid that we will embarrass you in our presence? But before he could say anything, Mouse smiled and nodded. Okay, we'll leave after eating. The IQ of people who fall in love plummets. At this time, whatever Xiaojie says is whatever she wants. Rats don't think too much about it at all. The two found seats and sat down. At this time, a girl smiled at Xiaojie and said, Xiaojie, why hasn't your Prince Charming come yet? Xiaojie said, you know, he is always very busy. The door was pushed open, and a tall, handsome, well-dressed young man walked in, kissed Xiaojie on the head, and said with a smile, no matter how busy I am, I have to come over to celebrate your birthday. Seeing this scene, Mouse froze immediately, with a trace of pain in his eyes, and stuffed the necklace he had taken out back into his pocket. Ji Wufeng's eyes were also focused. He knew this person, Lu Jingfeng, one of Yulio's rich men, and Qin Hongming's younger brother. The two had had many contacts before. Lu Jingfeng said, today is Xiaojie's birthday. Let's celebrate it well. After dinner, I arranged a private room at the Royal Court Club. Everyone should have a good time. The whole audience burst into cheers. The Royal Court Club is the most high-end entertainment venue in Yulio. The box fee alone starts at 50,000 yuan, and you can get at least 100,000 yuan for a game. It is really luxurious. Lu Jingfeng glanced at the mouse and said, who is he? Xiaojie's expression suddenly became tense and she said, he was my neighbor when I was a child, and he came here to play. Oh, those who didn't know better thought he was a food delivery guy. Lu Jingfeng nodded. Ha ha ha. The whole audience burst into laughter and said, don't tell me, he really looks like a food delivery guy. Ji Wufeng turned to look at Mouse. Although he was smiling, his face was a little pale and his hands under the table were trembling slightly. The one you love falls into the arms of someone else, is humiliated by a love rival, and has to put on a smile. What kind of torture must you endure in your heart? Humph, Lu Jingfeng, does your mouth still stink so bad? Ji Wufeng snorted coldly. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the box became angry, especially the girls. They pointed at Ji Wufeng and said, why did you say that? The little brat who came from nowhere dares to talk to Master Feng like this. He doesn't want to live anymore, right? Xiaojie, how come you have such unqualified neighbors? Xiaojie also turned pale with anger. She glanced at Ji Wufeng and said coldly to Moatzi, Mouse, your friends are really too much. You are not welcome here. Please leave immediately. Mouse's eyes turned gloomy, and he stood up silently. His beloved treating him like this was undoubtedly a knife in his heart. Ah, who am I talking about? Isn't this our young master Ji? Only then did Lu Jingfeng notice Ji Wufeng, pointed at him and introduced to everyone, let me introduce you to you. This is our young master Ji Wufeng, but his family is about to go bankrupt. The Ji family was once very famous in Yulio, and the whole city knew that the Ji family was about to go bankrupt. After hearing Lu Jingfeng's introduction, they all looked at Ji Wufeng and sneered, oh, no wonder you are so arrogant. It turns out to be young Master Ji. Ha ha ha, you are so arrogant even though you are going bankrupt, you are really a young man. Humph, I'm going to sleep on the street soon. Why are you so arrogant? Go away, don't be embarrassed here. Mouse suddenly started to tremble violently, his eyes burst out with anger, he pointed at Lu Jingfeng and said coldly, shut the hell up. He could tolerate Lu Jingfeng's humiliation, but he would not allow others to bully Ji Wufeng. Ji Wufeng smiled and said, okay, today, boss, I will set up a table and hold a confession meeting for you. In this century, Wufeng will regard Mouse as his own brother, and Mouse's affairs are his business. No, your family is not well off now. I have money. I will call Xiaojie now to ask her out. Before Mouse could make a call, the phone had already rang. Mouse immediately grinned and said, it's Xiaojie calling. After answering the phone, Mozi looked a little unnatural and said, Xiaojie said that she is now at Chunfengdeyilou building and said that a friend wanted to celebrate her birthday together. Chunfengdeyilou? Ji Wufeng frowned. Chunfengdeyilou is an extremely high-end national chain hotel, and the consumption is very high. Just eating will cost thousands of yuan. If there are many people and drinking, it will even cost tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. Even before, the Ji family was still in glory. Ji Wufeng has only been there a few times. Mouse has to work part-time to deliver food, even to buy a gift. How can he afford to eat at Chunfengdeyilou? Ji Wufeng patted him on the shoulder and smiled. Isn't this just right? There are so many people here to help you witness, and I will take care of the other things. Although the family was not well off, Chini left him living expenses before leaving, and at worst, he would have to pay them all. The two took a taxi to Chunfengdeyilou building. The parking lot was already filled with luxury cars. Business was booming. I don't know how many people were jealous, but no one dared to cause trouble, because those who dare to cause trouble for Chunfengdeyilou building never end well. It is rumored that the big boss of Chunfengdeyilou building is a big shot from Tianjin with a great background. After finding the private room that Xiaojia mentioned, Ji Wufeng looked depressed. You must know that the minimum purchase price for a private room is more than 20,000 yuan. Entering the box, I saw that it was already full of people, both men and women, talking and laughing. One of the pretty girls was Xiaojia. When she saw the mouse coming in, her cheeks that were still joking suddenly turned cold. She walked over and whispered, "What's the matter with you? You're not wearing this to embarrass me." Face. Mouse had been delivering takeout for a day, and the clothes he was wearing were really out of tune with the other people in the box. The mouse looked sad for a while, then smiled and said, "Didn't I come here in a hurry and didn't have time to change?" Just then a girl said, "Xiaojia, who are these two people? They must be your friends too." I saw that everyone in the box was focused on the two of them. After a while of inspection, their eyes were full of disgust. It was obvious that they believed that people like Xiang Ji Wufeng and Moz were not qualified to sit with them and eat together. Xiaojia looked embarrassed for a moment and said with a smile, "They are my neighbors and they came over to celebrate my birthday." Ji Wufeng could clearly feel that Xiaojia wanted to distance herself from Moz at this time. If the situation did not allow it, she would not be willing to admit that she knew Moz. Those few people turned their heads and stopped paying attention, as if they felt that if they took one more look, they would lose their worth. Xiaojia whispered again, "You two can leave quickly after you finish eating. We are going to sing later. It's a bit inappropriate for you to be there." Ji Wufeng felt angry. Inappropriate? Why is it inappropriate? Are you afraid that we will embarrass you in our presence? But before he could say anything, Mouse smiled and nodded. Okay, we'll leave after eating." The IQ of people who fall in love plummets. At this time, Xiaojia will do whatever she says. Rats don't think too much about it at all. The two found seats and sat down. At this time, a girl smiled at Xiaojia and said, "Xiaojia, why hasn't your Prince Charming come yet?" Xiaojia said, "You know, he is always very busy." The door was pushed open, and a tall, handsome, well-dressed young man walked in, kissed Xiaojia on the head, and said with a smile, "No matter how busy I am, I have to come over to celebrate your birthday." Seeing this scene, Mouse froze immediately, with a trace of pain in his eyes, and stuffed the necklace he had taken out back into his pocket. Ji Wufeng's eyes were also focused. He knew this person, Lu Jingfeng, one of Yulio's rich men, and Qin Hongming's younger brother. The two had had many contacts before. Lu Jingfeng said, "Today is Xiaojia's birthday. Let's celebrate it well. After dinner, I arranged a private room at the Royal Court Club. Everyone should have a good time." The whole audience burst into cheers. The Royal Court Club is the most high-end entertainment venue in Yulio. The box fee alone starts at 50,000 yuan, and you can get at least 100,000 yuan for a game. It is really luxurious. Lu Jingfeng glanced at the mouse and said, "Who is he?" Xiaojia's expression suddenly became tense and she said, "He was my neighbor when I was a child, and he came here to play." Oh, those who didn't know better thought he was a food delivery guy. Lu Jingfeng nodded. Ha ha ha. The whole audience burst into laughter and said, "Don't tell me, he really looks like a food delivery guy." Ji Wufeng turned to look at Mouse. Although he was smiling, his face was a little pale and his hands under the table were trembling slightly. The one you love falls into the arms of someone else, is humiliated by a love rival, and has to put on a smile. What kind of torture must you endure in your heart? Humph, Lu Jingfeng, does your mouth still stink so bad? Ji Wufeng snorted coldly. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the box became angry, especially the girls. They pointed at Ji Wufeng and said, "Why did you say that? The little brat who came from nowhere dares to talk to Master Feng like this. He doesn't want to live anymore, right? Xiaojie, how come you have such unqualified neighbors?" Xiaojie also turned pale with anger. She glanced at Ji Wufeng and said coldly to Moatzi, "Mouse, your friends are really too much. You are not welcome here. Please leave immediately." Mouse's eyes turned gloomy, and he stood up silently. His beloved treating him like this was undoubtedly a knife in his heart. "Ah, who am I talking about? Isn't this our young master Ji?" Only then did Lu Jingfeng notice Ji Wufeng, pointed at him and introduced him to everyone. "Everyone, let me introduce you to you. This is our young master Ji Wufeng, but his family is about to go bankrupt." The Ji family was once very famous in Yulio, and the whole city knew that the Ji family was about to go bankrupt. After hearing Lu Jingfeng's introduction, they all looked at Ji Wufeng and sneered, "Oh, no wonder he is so arrogant. It turns out to be Mr. Ji. Ha ha ha, you are so arrogant even though you are going bankrupt, you are really a young man. Humph, I'm going to sleep on the street soon. Why are you so arrogant? Go away, don't be embarrassed here." Mouse suddenly started to tremble violently, his eyes burst out with anger, he pointed at Lu Jingfeng and said coldly, "Shut the hell up." He could tolerate Lu Jingfeng's humiliation, but he would not allow others to bully Ji Wufeng. Chapter 78 Millennium Blood Ginseng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shi Qianying's words made Ji Wufeng feel a little touched. His grandmother was the only one in the Qin family who really cared about him, but the old man had passed away. "Sure, how many do you need?" Ji Wufeng asked. "I don't know how much I need because I don't know what to buy." Shi Qianying said. Ji Wufeng thought for a moment and said, "In that case, just leave it alone and leave the gift to me." Since Shi Qianying didn't know what to give, he could just go to Tiangongfang to get a piece of jade, since he had his shares anyway. "Isn't that too much trouble for you?" Shi Qianying asked. "I said we are all our own people, what's the trouble?" The gift matter was settled, but Ji Wufeng noticed that there was still a trace of sadness between Shi Qianying's eyebrows, so he asked, "Are there any difficulties?" Shi Qianying quickly waved her hand and said, "No, no." Since Shi Qianying didn't want to talk, Ji Wufeng stopped asking. The next day, Ji Wufeng rushed to Tiangongfang. The scene inside was completely different from when he came back. There were many luxury cars parked at the door, and well-dressed men and women came in and out. Business was booming. After selling 2 pieces of jade engraved with the spirit gathering array yesterday, the news spread quickly. Many wealthy people who liked jade came here after hearing about it. Hua Yuzhen took out 2 more pieces and paid 300,000 yuan for them. The price of each piece was sold. Many people couldn't buy jade articles engraved with the spirit gathering formation, so they had to settle for the next best thing. Hundreds of other jade articles were sold in the store. Such a hot business has never been achieved even when Tiangongfang was at its peak. Hua Yuzhen's face was glowing red and she looked very beautiful, but Ji Wufeng also saw an acquaintance next to her. "Xiao Feng, have you seen it? We have made a fortune, and I believe it won't be long before we can expand our business to Yuzhou, and then maybe we will become a jade giant." Hua Yuzhen said excitedly. "Then I'll wait for that day." Ji Wufeng nodded. "Mr. Ji," the girl next to Hua Yuzhen said with surprise on her face. "Ms. Yang, are you there?" Hua Yuzhen hugged Yang Qinggu beside her and said, "Haha, you don't know, right? Qinggu is my good sister." Ji Wufeng understood. No wonder Hua Yuzhen had persuaded him to help the Yang family. It turned out that he had friendship with the Yang family. "Mr. Ji, if I treat you to a meal today, you won't refuse, right?" Yang Qinggu said. Ji Wufeng thought for a while and said, "It's not that I want to reject you, but I have something to do today, can I change it to another day?" Yang Qingwu suddenly looked disappointed and said, "I'm going back to school in the afternoon, and I've already booked a flight ticket." In fact, she is still a student at Yunnan University in Yuzhou. She came back this time because Yang Songbai was seriously ill. Now that Yang Songbai is fine, she should rush back to school. Hua Yuzhen patted her on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, our business will soon reach Yuzhou. Are you afraid that we won't have a chance by then?" "That's all it can do." Yang Qingwu said helplessly. Ji Wufeng asked Hua Yuzhen to prepare a piece of jade for the old lady's birthday, and then left Tiangongfang and went straight to Fuan Hall to see if he could find any medicinal materials that could be used to refine the elixir. The medical center of Fuantong is connected to the pharmacy. It has a very large facade. From a distance, you can see the busy traffic outside the gate, and there is a long queue of people seeking medical treatment outside the medical center. "Great, I caught up with the little miracle doctor today. Is not that right? It is said that the medical skills of the little miracle doctor have been passed down by Mr. Sun. Dad, the little miracle doctor is here and he will definitely cure you." It turns out that Sun Sisai personally attended the consultation today, attracting many people who came to seek medical advice. As soon as Ji Wufeng entered the drugstore, he heard someone saying angrily, "Why are you here?" But when he turned around, he saw that it was the man who had threatened him to take out the dragon chi stone after the Chen family's auction. His name seemed to be Sun Hui, and he was the manager of the Sun family's Fuantang pharmacy. The last time he tried to help Sun Sisiu get the dragon chi stone, he was beaten up by Ji Wufeng. Of course, he was extremely jealous when he saw it this time. "Don't talk to me in this tone. I'm here to buy medicine. The customer is God. It's good that you didn't have to bow and kowtow to me to greet me." Ji Wufeng said with a smile. Sun Hui's nose was almost crooked with anger, but there was nothing he could do. According to the rules of Fuan Hall, anyone who enters Fuan Hall must be treated with courtesy without any slights. Ji Wufeng walked around and found that there were indeed a lot of ginseng and Ganoderma lucidum that had sufficient spiritual energy. If you bought them, you could refine 1 or 2 pills, but the price was prohibitively expensive. At this moment, he saw a muddy young man hurriedly walking into Fuan Hall. Ji Wufeng raised his eyebrows. This young man was actually exuding a strong aura. The young man ran to the counter, took out a fiery red ginseng and asked Sun Hui, "Do you accept blood ginseng here?" This blood ginseng is not big in size, and its color is not particularly bright red, but its aura is several times that of ordinary blood ginseng, so it can be called a panacea. After Sun Hui looked it over, he said, "About 5,000 yuan. As we all know, the redder and brighter the color of this blood ginseng, the older it is and the more valuable it is. However, this is only a phenomenon that occurs within 1,000 years. After a blood ginseng is aged for 1,000 years, it will return to its original state due to absorbing too much light from the sun and the moon. The blood color will slowly fade away, and the red color will become lighter and lighter. The young man's blood ginseng must be at least 1,000 years old. It's just that this kind of blood ginseng is so rare that it is almost extinct now, so most people can't recognize it even if they see it." This is the case for Sun Hui. The young man's face suddenly looked disappointed and he said, "Manager, did you see it wrong? This blood ginseng should be more than 5,000. When Sun Hui heard this, his face suddenly turned cold and he said, "What do you mean? Who in the whole Yulio doesn't know that Fuan Tang is an honest man and the price is the most fair? If you don't want to sell, just leave." The young man hurriedly said, "Manager, that's not what I meant. I'm just waiting for the money now. Please take a look. It must be more than 5,000. Sun Hui was not in a good mood. Hearing this, he stared and said, "I said 5,000. 1,000 is 5,000, don't you question my ability to identify medicinal materials? If you don't sell it, leave immediately, or I'll call security." The young man gritted his teeth and said, "Okay, I'll sell it." Just as the two were preparing to trade, Ji Wufeng stepped forward and said, "Brother, I bought your blood ginseng." The young man shook his head and said, "Sorry, I have already sold this ginseng to Fuan Tang. Isn't there no deal yet? I'll give you 10 times the price." Ji Wufeng said. The young man's eyes lit up, and then he frowned and said, "Brother, the manager just said that this blood ginseng is only worth 5,000, is your price too high?" Chapter 79 Challenge the Little Miracle Doctor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng waved his hand and said, "It's not high at all. For me, such a good blood ginseng is too cheap. Not to mention 50,000, even if it was 500,000, Ji Wufeng felt that he would not lose money. As soon as these words came out, Sun Hui became angry and said, "Do you mean that I cheated him? Either you tricked him, or you have poor medical skills and don't even know the elixir. Anyway, there are definitely more than 5,000 blood ginseng." Ji Wufeng curled his lips and said. Sun Hui almost jumped up and said, "You are the first one who dares to slander Fuantang like this. Who gave you the courage? The survival of medical clinics and drug stores is based on medical skills and reputation. Whether it is poor medical skills or deceptive activities, it will have a great impact on the reputation of Fuantang." Ji Wufeng was too lazy to pay attention to him, but took out his mobile phone and said to the young man, "Let's do this, I'll give you 20 times the price, and I'll pay you and deliver the goods." Seeing that Ji Wufeng was not joking, the young man was overjoyed and said, "That's really great, thank you little brother." Sun Hui's face was ashen and he said coldly, "Okay, you are the first one who dares to come to Fuan Hall to make trouble, here comes someone." That when Ji Wufeng finished transferring the money and was about to leave, a group of people immediately rushed out of Fuan Hall and surrounded the two of them. The young man was startled, and Ji Wufeng's face turned cold and said, "What do you mean? It's not interesting. It's just that you can't leave until you make things clear today." Sun Hui said coldly, "He has determined that the blood ginseng is only worth 5,000. If the two people complete the transaction at 20 times the price, once word gets out, some people will definitely think that either Fuantang is cheating people, or that they have poor medical skills and cannot even use the elixir. Don't know anyone, no matter which aspect it is, it will cause a blow to the reputation of Fuantang. In addition, Sun Hui has already had issues with him. How can he let him leave easily now?" Ji Wufeng snorted coldly and said, "I want to leave, can you stop me?" The drug store was so busy that it alerted the medical clinic next door. A young man in a robe came over and asked in a deep voice, "Sun Hui, what happened? Is it you?" This young man in robes was Sun Sisawai, the little miracle doctor. He didn't expect to meet Ji Wufeng here. His face was gloomy, and he was obviously hostile to Ji Wufeng because of the incident with the dragon chi stone last time. After listening to Sun Hui's words, he immediately said angrily, "It seems that you have worked hard to damage the reputation of Fuan Hall, and you have even used such despicable methods." Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said, "You are overthinking. I have no interest in damaging the reputation of Fuantang. I am just telling the truth. You are indeed incompetent in medical skills and have not seen the true value of this blood ginseng." As soon as these words came out, the whole place was in an uproar. Is this kid crazy? Fuantang is famous for its medicinal materials and its reputation for medical skills. It dares to say that the Sun family cheats people and lacks medical skills. Isn't it crazy? Sun Cici's face suddenly turned livid and he said coldly, "You are very courageous. No one has ever dared to slander Fuan Hall like this. Who sent you to cause trouble? I'm too lazy to pay attention to you. You're not that good at it, but you're quite impressive." Ji Wufeng twisted the blood ginseng and turned to leave. "How presumptuous!" Sun Cici jumped up in anger, pointed at Ji Wufeng and said, "If you don't give me an explanation today, you will never leave here." Good deeds never go out and bad deeds travel thousands of miles. If Ji Wufeng left like this, there would definitely be people with bad intentions who would take the opportunity to attack Fuantang. Ji Wufeng didn't want to conflict with Fuantang at all, but Sun Cici's reluctance angered him, and he said coldly, "If you want to explain, I will give it to you. What I say is that your Fuantang is not good, and you don't even have the ability to identify elixirs. With this level of experience, how can you open a pharmacy or practice medicine?" Okay, since you have the guts to say that, do you have the guts to take a gamble with me?" Sun Cici was shaking with anger. Ji Wufeng immediately became happy when he heard this. He had tasted the sweetness of betting with others before. Since he had bets, he would get benefits. Okay, how do you want to bet? You said that Fu and Tang's medical skills are not good, so we bet on medical skills. If you lose, it will prove that what you just said is all nonsense. You have to apologize in public, and you will also bear legal responsibility for slandering Fu and Tang's reputation. Sure, what if I win? The conditions are up to you. Okay, that's it, how do you want to bet? Ji Wufeng had already decided to empty out Sun Sisiukshu's medicine shop after he defeated him. Fuan Hall was originally in a prosperous area, with people coming and going. When they learned that someone was going to compete with the Sun family's little miracle doctor, everyone immediately gathered around him, wondering why he, a young boy, dared to challenge the Sun family. Hey, isn't that the good-for-nothing young master Ji Wufeng of Qianxiang Group who is about to go bankrupt? Someone soon recognized Ji Wufeng. When everyone learned that Ji Wufeng was just a bankrupt young man and not a member of a family of traditional Chinese medicine, there was a sudden burst of discussion. Damn it, I never heard that this kid knows medical skills. He knows nothing about medical skills. I think there is something wrong with his brain. I think he must have really suffered from brain problems due to the stimulation of bankruptcy. Otherwise, why would Xining do such a sensational and embarrassing thing? Hearing these words, Sun Sisi came to his senses. This guy was just a prodigal son who was about to go bankrupt. He didn't understand medical skills at all. He was so angry just now that he even compared his medical skills with him. In this way, he won the bet. It's not a big deal either. There is a saying that if an expert competes with an outsider, the expert will become an outsider. Now I'll give you another chance, apologize to me immediately and get out. Sun Sisi said angrily. Ji Wufeng shrugged his shoulders and said, you can tell me to get out, but even if you lose, our bet will still count. Fart, will I lose to you? Sun Sisi was trembling with anger. He had never seen such a shameless person. At this moment, I heard a girl's voice crying, help, doctor, please save my dad. The cry came from the medical queue at the door of the medical center next door, and everyone immediately got out of the way. Along the way, I saw a girl of 17 or 18 years old pushing a cart. On top of the cart was a ragged, skinny old man. The old man was coughing violently, spitting out black blood clots, and exuding a pungent fishy smell. Everyone immediately retreated. The girl ran to Sun Sisiukshu, knelt down there with a thud, and cried, little miracle doctor, please save my dad, he is about to die. Don't worry, let me take a look. Sun Sisi walked up to the old man and felt his pulse. His expression suddenly changed. He sighed and took out a few silver needles and inserted them into the old man's acupuncture points. The old man's violent coughing immediately stopped and his breathing became even. The effect is immediate. Everyone immediately expressed their admiration and said, the little miracle doctor is the little miracle doctor. His medical skills are so superb. Just a few injections are effective. Sun Sisi looked at Ji Wufeng and snorted coldly, now if you admit your mistake and apologize to me, and tell me who asked you to cause trouble, I can let you go. Ji Wufeng immediately shook his head and said, no, if I apologize, I will admit defeat. If I admit defeat, I won't be able to get your bet. Sun Sisi wanted to vomit blood, but he was still thinking about the bet. Could it be that this kid really had a brain problem and was looking for excitement and torture? Chapter 80. Who said that was a corpse? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng pointed to the old man and said, can you save him? Sun Sisiu suddenly looked gloomy and said, the poison in the patient's body is too deep and has invaded the internal organs. He is already terminally ill and cannot be saved by gods. Even if my grandfather takes action, my acupuncture can only temporarily suppress his poison. But it can't help him detoxify. To put it bluntly, you still don't have good medical skills. Ji Wufeng said. Everyone was immediately furious and said, asshole, didn't you hear the little miracle doctor say that everyone is too immortal to be saved? He can suppress the poison, which is already an excellent medical skill. That sick loser. get out of here, don't be embarrassed. I think he is here to cause trouble. Little miracle doctor, call the police and arrest him. It's useless to say so much. Being able to save people is your real skill. Ji Wufeng walked up to the old man and said with a smile, it's my turn now, don't be dumbfounded later, marvel at my peerless medical skills. Everyone was stunned. Hu and Yulio didn't know what kind of person you were, and you had unparalleled medical skills to heal you, a big-headed devil. By the way, lend me your silver needle, I don't have that thing. Ji Wufeng stretched out his hand to Sun Sisiakshu. Sun Sisi almost scolded her, even a silver needle is not as good as your medical skills compared to me. This also made him more certain that Ji Wufeng was here to cause trouble and had no medical skills at all. Before Sun Sisiakshu could agree, Ji Wufeng had already snatched the silver needle from his hand, rushed to the old man, tore his shirt to pieces, revealing his withered upper body, and traced his fingers across his body, suddenly appearing. Every wound, boom. Immediately afterwards, the silver needle in Ji Wufeng's hand pierced the old man's body like a candle on a birthday cake, and finally stretched out his palm and slapped the old man's head hard. Ah! Suddenly, the old man's whole body twitched violently, and he howled in pain. The whole audience was immediately shocked. What is Ji Wufeng doing? The old man is so ill, can he still survive after all this trouble? He is simply killing people. Asshole, what are you doing? Stop it quickly. Everyone was furious, and the girl was even more frightened. She pulled Ji Wufeng's arm and cried, Dad, what's wrong with you? Please, don't hurt my dad. Sun Sisi's face turned livid and shouted, Sun Hui, go and stop him. The security guards of Fuan Hall immediately rushed over. Ji Wufeng stamped his foot, and a powerful force suddenly burst out, pushing everyone away and unable to get closer. You bastard, I'm going to call the police to arrest you. Hey, are you a comrade from the police? Come to Fuan Hall, someone is killing people here. Someone stomped his feet and took out his cell phone to dial the police number. Ji Wufeng completely ignored everyone's reaction, and the true energy in his palms poured into the old man's body continuously. The old man howled miserably, and saw blood starting to flow from the wounds on his body, but the blood was not bright red, but black. It was purple and smelled bad. I don't know how long it took, but the blood flowing out of the old man finally began to turn red. Ji Wufeng released his palm and quickly pulled out the silver needle. The old man stopped howling miserably, tilted his head and fell on the carriage, making no movement. Dad, wake up, don't scare me. The girl immediately rushed over, only to find that the old man had stopped moving, and she burst into tears. Everyone onlookers gasped, and then their faces were filled with fury, and they shouted sternly, You bastard, you actually killed someone. Murderer, you murderer. Where's the police, why haven't they come yet? If such a villain is not shot, it will be unjust. Sun Sisai was extremely angry and shouted, Here comes someone, arrest him. Sun Hui immediately led a group of security guards and rushed towards Ji Wufeng with batons. He killed someone in full view of the public. He had to be arrested and sent to the police station, bang bang bang. But as soon as the security guards approached Ji Wufeng, they all saw him punching and raising his feet like lightning, and all the security guards fell to the ground and started wailing. Okay, you kill someone and then do it in the street, someone said angrily. Sun Sisi looked at Ji Wufeng coldly and said, You can't run away. Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said, Who said I was going to run away? I haven't got your bet yet. You've killed someone and you're still thinking about betting. I think you're just a lunatic, Sun Sisi said coldly. Humph, you say you have no medical skills and you still don't admit it. Can't you tell whether a person is dead or alive? Ji Wufeng snorted coldly and said, If Fuan Tang is only of this level, in my opinion Sun Bai Bai is just a person who is just trying to gain fame. You bastard, how dare you slander my grandfather? Sun Sisi was immediately furious. At this moment, a police car drove over quickly, and Chen Tainan was seen walking over quickly with two young policemen, and asked in a cold voice, Who killed someone? Where is the body? Seeing the police coming, everyone immediately pointed at Ji Wufeng and said angrily, "Comrade Police, this kid killed someone. The body is right there. The person was originally cured by the little miracle doctor, but he was killed by him again. Comrade Police, arrest him quickly and shoot him, otherwise we don't know how many people will be harmed." Seeing Ji Wufeng, Chen Tainan was stunned and said, "Why is it you again? I don't want it to be me either." Ji Wufeng shrugged his shoulders and said helplessly. Chen Tainan suddenly had a black line on his head and glared, "Can't you just stop and stop, that there are not many murder cases in normal times. The most recent one is the 4 murder cases of Li Yuanin last time, and then there is today's case, and both cases are related to Ji Wufeng." Ji Wufeng grinned and said, "There's nothing I can do about it. There are so many popular people." When they saw the police coming, instead of arresting Ji Wufeng, they even started chatting. Someone immediately shouted, "What are you doing? Arrest the person quickly. Are you trying to protect the murderer because you know him?" Sun Sisawai knew Chen Tainan, and said in a deep voice, "Captain Chen, this man killed someone in public here. Please arrest him immediately, bring him to justice, and give the deceased justice." Chen Tianan's eyes narrowed, and he immediately took out the handcuffs and said coldly, "I said, if you commit a crime, I will never let you go. Now please come with me." She didn't know why, but she got angry when she saw Ji Wufeng. In fact, it was not that she deliberately targeted Ji Wufeng, but that she was a well-known iron-blooded detective in Yulio, but last time she was scared to death by Li Pe at the Chen family, which made her feel too shameless. He couldn't save face, so he certainly didn't look good when he saw Ji Wufeng. Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said, "What on earth are you doing? It doesn't matter if you don't have good medical skills as a doctor, even you, the policeman, are so unprofessional." Sun Sisi's nose was filled with smoke, but before he could speak, Chen Tainan jumped up and said angrily, "You bastard, do you dare to say that I am unprofessional?" That she was well known as a detective, but when it came to Ji Wufeng's words, she became unprofessional. "Is not that right? I didn't kill anyone, why do you arrest me?" Ji Wufeng said. "The body is there, and there are so many people testifying. Do you want to deny it?" Chen Tainan said angrily. "Who said it was a corpse?" Ji Wufeng squinted his eyes and sneered. Chapter 81. I suspect you are a pickpocket. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You. At this moment, the 2 policemen who went to check the old man's body were heard shouting, "Captain, this is wrong, this man is not dead yet." Everyone was stunned and immediately ran over to take a look. "What's wrong?" The old man's chest was rising and falling, his breathing was even, and he was obviously a living person. Not only that, the previous illness on his face had been wiped away, and it became rosy. He looked like a healthy person who was asleep. He didn't look like that at all. Seriously ill patient, no, he was clearly out of breath just now. Having seen Li Po with his own eyes, Chen Tainan suddenly turned pale. Could it be that he had faked the corpse? This made her hide behind Ji Wufeng unconsciously. Ji Wufeng turned around and smiled, saying, "Don't worry, he's not dead, so don't be afraid." Chen Tianan's pink face suddenly turned red, and he was filled with anger. This bastard saw him making fools of himself twice. He really should gouge his eyes out. Who said I'm afraid? Do I look scared? Chen Tainan glared and said harshly, in fact, the old man was not dead at all. It was just because Ji Wufeng forced the poison out of his body, which made him very weak. In addition, he was tortured into that state. After he fainted, everyone thought he was dead. However, Ji Wufeng's true energy remained in his body, so he recovered quickly. Sun Sisai was stunned. He rushed over and grabbed the old man's wrist and felt his pulse. His expression immediately changed and he murmured, "Impossible, how is this possible?" That the girl grabbed his arm and asked eagerly, "Little miracle doctor, how is my dad?" Sun Sisi's face turned gloomy for a while, and he said, "Your dad is fine. Almost all the poison in his body has been removed. He only needs to be nursed back to health for a while and he will fully recover." As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was shocked. Sun Sisiu clearly said before that this old man was extremely ill and even Sun Bai Bai was helpless, but now he was cured by Ji Wufeng. Does this mean that Ji Wufeng's medical skills are better than Sun Baibai's? Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said, as a doctor and a policeman, you can't even tell whether a person is dead or alive. They say you are unprofessional. You. Chen Tainan stomped his feet angrily, but there was nothing he could do about this bastard. Ji Wufeng walked directly to Sun Sisiakshu and said, I think it's time for us to fulfill our bet. Sun Sisi's face instantly turned pale, and he finally lowered his head and said, I lost, what do you want? That the faces of everyone watching around also changed greatly. Sun Sisiakshu actually gave up, which proved that the medical skills of Fuantong were indeed not very good at all. As Ji Wufeng said, someone in the crowd immediately took out his phone and said excitedly, is it the media? I have big news. I believe the media will release news soon, and the reputation of Fuan Hall will definitely take a heavy blow. Don't worry, I'm just taking your worthless medicine. Ji Wufeng rubbed his hands happily and walked straight into Fuantong's medicine shop. He twisted up a bag and filled it with medicinal materials, including whatever was valuable. They were all ginseng, deer antlers, Ganoderma lucidum and so on. The faces of the entire Fuan Hall turned green. Damn it, didn't you say you only wanted some worthless medicine? The total price tag of your bag is over 10 million. Chen Tainan couldn't stand it and glared, don't go too far. The emperor is not in a hurry, but the eunuch is in a hurry. He didn't say anything. What are you talking about? Ji Wufeng pointed at Sun Sisi and said, Sun Sisi's face twitched. In fact, his heart was bleeding, but the two of them had made a bet in front of everyone, and they were willing to admit defeat. After the bag was full, Ji Wufeng stopped with satisfaction, ran to Chen Tainan and said with a smile, do you have any cash? Lend me some. No. Chen Tainan glared. I know you do. Ji Wufeng's hand quickly reached into Chen Tianan's pocket and took out his wallet. He opened it and saw that there was about 2,000 cash in it. After taking it all out, he stuffed the wallet into Chen Tianan's pocket. Chen Tainan was immediately furious. Not only did this bastard ransack Fuantang, he actually dared to steal my wallet, but Ling Lai walked up to the old man with the money, took out a ginseng and a deer antler from the bag and handed it to the girl's hand, saying, your dad is a little weak now and needs to be nursed back to health. Take it back to replenish it. Well, it's faster this way. Everyone was stunned. That ginseng and deer antler were priced at more than 100,000 yuan in Fuan Hall. Are they just giving them away? Ji Wufeng then said, the reason why your dad has excess stasis in his body is because he eats spoiled leftovers all year round, so he must eat fresh food during his recovery period. Seeing as your family situation is not that good, all this money you take it back and give it to your dad to improve his life. Looking at the money and medicinal materials in her hand, the girl was immediately stunned, her eyes turned red, and she almost shed tears. Plop. The girl immediately knelt down in front of Ji Wufeng, kowtowed and said, benefactor, I will never forget your great kindness. Ji Wufeng waved his hands and said, don't talk about great kindness. I'm just afraid that something will happen to your dad again, and unprofessional people will question my peerless medical skills and say that I hurt him. Chen Tianan's eyebrows were raised angrily. Is the unprofessional person talking about himself? Although it took a lot of hard work, the harvest was good, so Ji Wufeng swaggered away while humming a small tune while twisting the bag. But before he had gone far, he heard a burst of warm applause from behind. That old man had been sentenced to death by Sun Sisi Siwei, but he was unexpectedly cured by Ji Wufeng. Not only that, he also donated medicine and money. How could such a heartwarming act full of positive energy not be greatly appreciated? Looking at Ji Wufeng's back, the two policemen couldn't help but praise, you're not old, but you have a good heart. Society needs such positive energy. Chen Tainan was still angry about that unprofessional sentence, and said angrily, asshole, you dare to say that I am unprofessional. Don't let it fall into my hands in the end. If you do anything illegal. She suddenly thought of something, and immediately his eyes lit up and he ran towards the police car, saying, get in the car quickly and chase me. Before Ji Wufeng could get far, Chen Tainan chased him in a police car and stopped him. After getting out of the car, he said in a deep voice, "Please follow me back to the police station." Ji Wufeng was speechless and said, "I didn't kill anyone, why should I go back with you?" Chen Tainan sneered and said to the two police officers behind him, "I didn't say you killed someone, but you just stole my wallet. I suspect you are a pickpocket and a habitual criminal. You too, handcuff him immediately." Chapter 82 Beautiful as a Flower Dominatrix. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng shouted, "I took your wallet to say hello to you, but that's not stealing. If you took it yourself without my consent, then it's not stealing, it's robbery, and the crime is even more serious," Chen Tainan said. "I took your money to help that girl. At best, it was robbing the rich to give to the poor, not robbery. You said it was robbery from the rich and giving to the poor. What is it if it's not robbery?" Ji Wufeng became angry and said, "Chen Tainan, don't be too forward-thinking. You were the one who went too far first. Who in Yulio doesn't know that I am a hotshot detective? You dare to say that I am unprofessional, how can I continue to mess around in the future?" Chen Tainan raised his eyebrows and said, "You are not professional to begin with. You have not even figured out whether a person is dead or not. You want to arrest someone. How dare you say that you are a detective? You bastard, are you still saying that? I just said, what can you do to me?" The two police officers originally wanted to come up and handcuff Ji Wufeng, but when they saw this scene, they just stood there and stared at each other. It's strange. Normally, the captain cuffs anyone he wants. We can't even intervene if we want to. Yes, once she encounters resistance and talks back, she will immediately start a grapple and fight, beating her to pieces. Why didn't she take action today? Isn't that right? Not only did they not take out the handcuffs or make a move, but Chen Tainan, who never talked nonsense, was arguing with others on the street, making his face red and spitting. It looked like he was trying to arrest someone. He was just flirting. As police officers, they all have strong logical analysis skills. This was the first time they saw Chen Tianan's abnormal behavior and they immediately began to analyze it. Do you think this boy is our captain's boyfriend? The possibility is very high, but is it too small? They are 18 or 19 years old at most. What do you know? The younger you are, the more obedient you are. Our captain is like a queen, so of course we need an obedient boyfriend. But I just wonder if this is not a robbery at all. Why does the captain handcuff her? I know this. The captain didn't really want to handcuff her, otherwise he would have taken action. He clearly saw that boy donating medicine to the girl. Our captain was afraid that he would be too carefree and would beat him up. Then should we still cuff people? Cuff me? If you seriously injured someone else's little boyfriend, it would be strange if the captain didn't peel off your skin. Chen Tianan's eyebrows were almost burning because of Ji Wufeng's anger. When he saw that the two police officers had not taken action, he said angrily, "What are you two doing for food? Why don't you cuff him?" However, the two police officers stepped back with sneers on their faces and said, "Captain, we are all our own people anyway, so there is no need for us, right? Who is one of his own? If he wasn't one of your own, you would have beaten him down long ago, and you wouldn't have needed us. You are obviously afraid that you will be too heavy-handed and feel bad after breaking him." A police officer chuckled, then winked at Ji Wufeng and said, "Brother, let me teach you a trick. Our captain is a bit grumpy and cares about face, so you can coax her. Women rely on coaxing." Another police officer also smiled and said, "Captain, I'm not talking about you. No matter what, you are a woman and you have to be gentle with men. If you are so fierce, even if you have a boyfriend, you will be scared away." Chen Tainan and Ji Wufeng were both stunned. Damn, this clearly meant that they were having an affair. They howled together, "Fart, will I fall in love with this bastard? Nonsense, am I attracted to this old ant?" Chen Tainan was startled, and then suddenly shouted, "Who did you call the old ant? My young master is 18 years old. Compared with me, why are you not an old ant? Ji Wufeng squinted his eyes and said. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm only in my 20s, and I'm as beautiful as a flower. I think you are just a dominatrix. In an instant, the temperature of the surrounding air plummeted, and the two police officers immediately shrank their necks. They were so murderous. You bastard, you dare to say that I am a dominatrix, I will fight with you. Chen Tainan jumped up as if he had been stepped on, and reached for the gun at his waist to pull it out. Seeing that she was about to draw her gun, the two police officers immediately rushed over and stopped her and said, Captain, don't be impulsive. It is against discipline to draw your gun casually. Ji Wufeng also jumped up and shouted, Come on, don't think that I won't dare to beat you because you are a woman. If you piss me off, I will still beat you. Brother, just say less and leave quickly. The two police officers persuaded Ji Wufeng. I won't leave. Let me see what this shrew can do to me. Ji Wufeng curled his lips and said. You call me a bitch? Let me go, this bastard must be defeated today. Chen Tainan was like a crazy lioness, the street was full of pedestrians. When they saw three policemen shouting here, they thought something serious had happened and immediately gathered around to watch the fun. The two police officers were afraid that the matter would cause serious repercussions, so they hurriedly said, Don't look at it, everyone. It's just a young couple having an argument. There's nothing interesting to watch. Everyone immediately expressed understanding upon hearing this. One person said, It's okay. Police comrades are human beings. It's normal to fall in love and argue. An ant spoke earnestly to Chen Tainan, Nizi, I know you are very evil when you are a policeman, but you must not do this to your own man. How embarrassing is it for you to yell at him on the street and make him lose face, that it would be too bad if he gets angry with you and runs away. Chen Tainan almost vomited blood and said, Ant, he and I are not. And the ant turned to Ji Wufeng and said, Young man, women always mean what they say. Even though she is cruel to you, she actually loves you in her heart, Ant. Let me teach you a trick, no matter how angry you are, just hold her and kiss her fiercely until the skin of her mouth is broken, and she will become honest immediately. This is how my old man treats me, and it works every time. Thank you, Ant, for teaching me. If she dares to blow up her thorns next time, I will definitely do what you say. If I don't dare to beat her, I will use my mouth to deal with her. The ant nodded with satisfaction and left, and the others dispersed. However, before leaving, they all kindly persuaded the young couple, don't spank the young couple at the end of the bed or at the end of the bed. Chen Tainan was completely dumbfounded. She originally just wanted to teach Ji Wufeng a lesson and tell him not to be so arrogant. But now, not only did she fail to teach him a lesson, but she turned herself into his wife. Ji Wufeng smiled and said to Chen Tainan, Honey, I know I was wrong. Don't be angry. I will definitely love you well when I get home. You bastard, you. Chen Tainan was so angry that his eyes darkened and he almost fainted. At this time, a police officer received a call and said, Captain, I received a call from the station that a murder has occurred. Chapter 83 The Master of Traditional Chinese Medicine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as he heard that a murder had occurred, Chen Tainan, who was already extremely frantic, calmed down immediately. He glared at Ji Wufeng with a murderous look, then walked to the police car and said, Go to the scene of the murder immediately. Before leaving, the two police officers winked at Ji Wufeng and said, Brother, remember to admit your mistake to the captain when you go back. Yes, if she starts to attack, it will be useless even if you call the police. So, people have to keep their heads down under the eaves. Before, they only speculated about the relationship between Ji Wufeng and Chen Tainan, but in the end Ji Wufeng himself admitted it, and there was no doubt that the two were boyfriend and girlfriend. Thank you two brothers for reminding me. I love my wife so much, why would I make her angry again? But it is very dangerous for you to investigate the case. My wife is a woman after all, so you should take more care of her. Ji Wufeng asked with great warmth. In the car, Chen Tainan was so angry that he was holding the steering wheel and was shaking. This bastard is kicking his nose and getting into his face. He only has one wife at a time. Go to hell. Chen Tainan stepped on the accelerator and then the police car turned around. The exhaust pipe was facing Ji Wufeng and the others. Then he stepped on the accelerator again, and a burst of black smoke came out of the exhaust pipe of the police car and drove away. The three people immediately took several mouthfuls of car exhaust and choked. The two police officers immediately chased after them, shouting, "Cough, cough, Captain, wait for us." Ji Wufeng angrily stamped his feet on the spot and cursed, "You did it on purpose, cough cough, cough cough, you dominatrix, wait for me, we are not done with this." After returning home angrily, Ji Wufeng looked at the medicinal materials in the bag and felt a little better. He took out a ginseng and a deer antler and planned to give them to Shi Qianying. Shi Qianying's mother needed to recuperate her body before surgery, so she could use it as a supplement. During meal time, he took out the ginseng and deer antlers that he had prepared before and said, "Auntie is going to have surgery soon and her body needs to be recuperated. You can find time to stew these to replenish Auntie's health." Seeing such a valuable thing, Shi Qianying quickly waved her hands and said, "No, this is too expensive." Ji Wufeng smiled and said, "Take it. If it weren't for your care, this girl wouldn't be so happy. Just think of me as thanking you." Shi Qianying's eyes dimmed for a while. Is the reason why he was so kind to her just for Yanran? After turning off the video, a registration window suddenly popped up on his phone. Registration was about to begin for the music talent show held by Yulio. Ji Wufeng remembered that Shi Qianying became a blockbuster in this music talent show. It seemed that teacher Qianying probably didn't bother to register, so Ji Wufeng simply used his mobile phone to register for her. At this time, Ji Wufeng saw another news pop up under the registration window, with the title, "Shameless Businessman, or Unscrupulous Quackery." The general content of the news is what happened to Ji Wufeng in Fuentang today, indicating that Fuentang purchased blood ginseng worth hundreds of thousands for 5,000, bought low and sold high, deceiving the public. Next, a patient with ordinary symptoms was randomly cured by an unknown boy, but before that, the famous little miracle doctor sentenced the patient to death. The comment area below was filled with excitement. Some people didn't believe it at first, but there were many onlookers present at the time. In full view of the people, it was impossible to deny it, and the authenticity of the news was immediately confirmed. It is conceivable that because of this incident, Fuentang will definitely suffer a heavy blow, and its reputation may be ruined and it may end. Just then the doorbell rang. Ji Wufeng went to open the door and saw Sun Sisiu standing there with a gloomy face. "What's up?" Ji Wufeng may have guessed Sun Sisi's intention. Sure enough, Sun Sisiakshu picked up the suitcase in his hand and said, "Here is 1 million. As long as you tell the media what happened today again according to my wishes, it will be yours." Obviously, the news was a huge blow to Fuentang, and Sun Sisi wanted to bribe Ji Wufeng to reverse the situation. "Sorry, I'm not interested." Ji Wufeng shook his head. For a mere $1 million to let him belittle himself in the media, he didn't have the leisure time. Sun Sisi's expression turned pale and he said, "Isn't that too little? I can give you 2 million, but if you continue to be ignorant, I will let you know the consequences of provoking the Sun family." Although the Sun family is not as powerful as the 4 major families, Sun has been practicing medicine for 100 years and has met many powerful people. As long as the Sun family spreads the word, someone will immediately come out to deal with Ji Wufeng. "Threaten me?" Ji Wufeng had a cold look in his eyes and said with a smile, "I thought the Sun family just had poor medical skills, but I didn't expect them to be so despicable. The Sun family's affairs have nothing to do with him, but if the Sun family dares to provoke him, it will not be as simple as losing their reputation." Snort. Following a cold snort, an old man in gray robes with gray hair came over and said, "Don't worry, little brother, although the Sun family is not good at medical skills, they are not capable of such despicable acts." Seeing the old man appear, Sun Sisai was shocked and said, "Grandpa, why are you back?" Sun Sisi's grandfather was naturally the famous Dr. Sun Bianian. He was originally from Yuzhou, and after learning what happened at Fuan Hall, he rushed back immediately. Sun Bai looked at the money in Sun Sisai's hand. His face was extremely ugly. He stretched out his palm and slapped Sun Sisai's face hard, snapped. Sun Banian looked angry and said, "Humph, you bastard. It doesn't matter that you are not good at learning, but you still do such despicable and shameless things. Are you worthy of your ancestors?" "Grandpa, I'm sorry." Sun Sisi said in a low voice, covering his face. Sun Bai snorted coldly, "Do you know where you went wrong? I've disgraced the Sun family." "Fart," Sun Bai said angrily with red eyes, "you are still young, and it is not shameful to be inferior to others in medical skills. If you lose, you should reflect on yourself, know your shame and then be brave, work hard to improve your medical skills, but you behave like a despicable villain. You can't even be good at treating people, so why don't you practice as a doctor?" Sun Sisi shuddered and said, "Grandpa, I know I was wrong. There are people outside the world, and there is a God outside the world. No matter how good or low your medical skills are, as long as you act like a doctor and a parent, you are a good doctor. The rest is not important at all. Do you understand? Grandpa, I will always remember your teachings." Sun Sisi lowered his head and said. Sun Bai turned around to look at Ji Wufeng, and even bent down to salute and bow. "Little brother, I was the one who failed to teach you well, and I am willing to take the blame. Regarding the matter of your thoughts threatening you, if you want to call the police to arrest him, Sun Bai will never complain." Ji Wufeng was a little surprised. Sun Bai's teaching to Sun Sisai just now showed that he was an open-minded person, and he was definitely not pretentious. Moreover, the main reason why Fuentang is so famous, in addition to the superb medical skills of the Sun family, is that Sun Bai is not only a famous doctor, but also a benevolent doctor, a veritable master of traditional Chinese medicine. "Forget it, I won't pursue this matter anymore." Ji Wufeng waved his hand. "Thank you so much, little brother." Sun Bai thanked him with a grateful face, but he suddenly became solemn and said, "But the Sun family has always adhered to the ancestral precepts and did not dare to do anything that went against medical ethics. My personal reputation is small, but I am absolutely we cannot bring shame to our ancestors." "Oh, what do you want?" Ji Wufeng asked with great interest. "I want to have another try with my little brother in person, and I hope my little brother will make it happen." Sun Banian cupped his fists. Chapter 84 I Give Up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng understood that Fuan Hall suffered such a big blow because Sun Sisai lost to him, but if Sun Bai regained his position, Fuan Hall's reputation could be restored. Of course there is no problem in the competition, but it requires a lottery prize. Ji Wufeng readily agreed. Every time he bets with others, he has gained something, and he has already tasted the benefits. "Thank you little brother for helping me. If I lose, whatever the Sun family has, let my little brother take it." Sun Bai said. "Okay, it's settled. When?" "Tomorrow afternoon, Fuan Hall." "Good." After seeing off Sun Bai and his grandson, Ji Wufeng turned on his cell phone and found that the news about Fuan Hall was flying all over the sky, and it had fermented and become more and more intense. Many people were there to make fun of themselves, saying how they had been deceived by Fuentang, and how the Sun family's medical skills were useless. However, their words clearly had ulterior motives, and they were fabricating useless things to discredit Fuentang. However, after all, the reputation of the Sun family has been established for generations, and many people are still willing to believe in the Sun family and support Fuentang. In the comment area, the phone call Qin Yi must make every night came. After Ji Wufeng told her that everything was normal at home, Qin Yi said angrily, "Oh, I didn't expect that Fuentang is so good, but there are people who have ulterior motives to frame the Sun family. It's true that good people don't get rewarded. So abominable." Obviously, Qin Yi also learned about Fuentang from the mobile news. Ji Wufeng asked, "Mom, do you also think Fuentang is very good?" "Of course. You must know that Mr. Sun is still your savior. If it weren't for him, your life would have been long gone. He is a good man. I don't know who is so despicable and shameless that he even framed the Sun family." Ji Wufeng said, How come I don't know about this, that when Wufeng was still young, he suffered a serious illness, and the illness was very serious. The hospital had notified Qin Yi to prepare for his funeral. Finally, he happened to meet Sun Bai, who was returning home to visit relatives, and finally took his life. Rescued, Qin Yi prepared a lot of gifts and went to thank her, but Sun Bai was unwilling to see her, saying that it was his duty as a doctor, and since he had already received the consultation fee, he no longer needed to thank her. At that time, Sun Bai was still working in Huajing and rarely returned to Yulio. Qin Yi asked for an interview several times but never got a chance. In the end, she gradually put it aside, but she always remembered this kindness. Ji Wufeng was only a few years old at that time, so he didn't know about it. After knowing the truth, Ji Wufeng couldn't help but feel a headache. After a long time, he was his great benefactor, but he had ruined his life. If his mother knew about it, wouldn't she skin him? Mom, don't worry. Ji Ren has his own destiny, and Fuantang will be fine. After thinking about it for most of the night, he couldn't come up with a good solution. He was speechless all night. The next day, he came to Fuan Hall as promised. I saw that the gate of Fuan Hall was already bustling with people. That was because the news that Sun Bai was going to compete with Ji Wufeng had spread, and all these people came to watch the fun. Sun Bai was recognized as a miracle doctor, and someone actually challenged him. How could he miss such excitement? There were also people watching yesterday. After seeing Ji Wufeng appear, they immediately shouted excitedly, "Here he comes, he's here." Everyone looked at Ji Wufeng and were stunned. This guy was at least 18 or 19 years old. How could he have superb medical skills? Isn't he making an international joke by challenging Dr. Sun? This kid doesn't look like a person with good medical skills. Could it be a mistake? Looking like that, I guess you haven't even been weaned yet. Isn't it funny to challenge Dr. Sun? At this moment, Sun Bainian came out and said loudly, "It's not that he wants to challenge me, but I, Sun Bainian, want to challenge this little brother." As soon as these words came out, everyone was in an uproar. The challenger and the challenged are completely different concepts. Their postures are high and low. When Sun Bai said this, he obviously put his posture below Ji Wufeng's. Ji Wufeng nodded. Sun Bai did not use his fame to suppress him, but challenged him fairly in front of everyone. This proved that he was a gentleman. Sun Bai looked at Ji Wufeng and said, "Brother, please come in. I will introduce you to a few friends. They will be today's referees. Don't worry, they are all highly respected people and will never show any favoritism." Ji Wufeng walked into the living room of Fuan Hall and found two old men sitting there. Sun Sisai and a middle-aged man were serving tea and water. Seeing Ji Wufeng, Sun Sisiu snorted coldly, showing obvious hostility, but it could be seen that he was just unconvinced and had no ill intentions. He believed that Ji Wufeng was not qualified to challenge Sun Bai. Ji Wufeng discovered that the three people in front of him were all his acquaintances. The middle-aged man was Dr. Zhang, who had previously done acupuncture on MaleProtagonist's legs. The other two old men were Yang Songbai and Zhou Yuanxing. These three people have great reputations and are indeed among the candidates to serve as referees. The three of them were stunned and said in unison, "Is he the one who wants to challenge?" Obviously, none of them expected that the person Sun Bai wanted to challenge would be Ji Wufeng. Sun Bai looked curious and said, "Do you know this little brother?" Dr. Zhang on the side also said with a wry smile, "Master, don't you want to know who cured Mei Lao's leg? Could it be him?" Sun Bai's eyes widened. Sun Sisi didn't believe it and said, "Senior brother, how is this possible? Even my grandfather was helpless when it came to Mr. Mei's legs and Mr. Yang. How could he possibly heal them well?" Dr. Zhang said helplessly, "My thoughts, if it wasn't the truth, how could I say such a thing?" In order to treat his legs, MaleProtagonist naturally went to see Sun Bai. However, Sun Bai's original diagnosis was that ordinary medical skills could not cure it, and even he was powerless. In the end, Sun Bai went to Yuzhou and asked his disciple Dr. Zhang Zhijiang to help MaleProtagonist with acupuncture, but in fact it was just for MaleProtagonist's safety, and he never thought it would have any effect. this time something like this happened in Fuanhall. Sun Baibai rushed back and asked Miaofeng to be the referee this time, but he didn't expect that Miaofeng's legs had been healed. At this time, Ji Wufeng also said, "Old Sun, don't you want to know how Lao Yang's illness was cured?" Sun Baibai was stunned and said, "Isn't it also him?" Yang Songbai nodded and said, "Yes, it is this little brother." Sun Baibai's body shook and he almost fell to the ground. "Grandpa." Sun Sisi hurriedly stepped forward to support him. Like Miaofeng, when Yang Songbai became ill, he sought treatment from Sun Baibai, but he was unable to do anything. After learning that both of them had recovered, he concluded that the person who cured them must have amazing medical skills that far surpassed his own. After solving the problem at Fuan Hall, he must visit him and ask humbly for advice, but he never expected that the person he wanted to consult would be Ji Wufeng. "That's all, no need to compete. My medical skills are definitely not as good as my little brother's. If I continue to compete, I will only be humiliating myself." Sun Baibai waved his hands and sighed. In this moment, Sun Baibai seemed to have aged dozens of years, and his skills were inferior to others. It was impossible to regain his place with Ji Wufeng. "Little brother, I give up in this competition. If you have any conditions, you can make them. The Sun family will never refuse." Sun Baibai said calmly.